Mr. Vaidilingam to deliver his welcome address.
Respected Financial Commissioner Railways, Mr. Shradha Shah, Advisor Station Development Railway Board, Rajiv Chaudhary, the Executive Directors of Railway Board who are going to share the presentations today, the ED PPP, Mr. Mukul Mathur, the ED JV, Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, and ED PSU, Mr. Dwivedi, and ED Finance, Mrs. Namita Malhotra, and the General Managers of Western Railway, General Managers of Central Railway and their teams of officers, and most importantly the members and the fraternity of the financial world of not only India but across the globe who have come in big number, the CFOs and the CEOs and CEOs of the corporates, the investment bankers, the merchant bankers, the equity and debt investors, and other experts from the financial world, the representatives from the media, and ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I welcome all of you for this investors conclave today. And this conclave has been organized as we to share with you, not only to sensitize with you and showcase these ideas with you in a proper forum like this. The last 2 years have been a big happening event in India. In the growth story of the Indian economy, as you all know, Indian Railways is playing a very major part. It has been a very reformative 2 years ever since the present minister, Mr. Suresh Prabhu has taken over the reins. Today he is expected to join us any moment, and he would be giving the keynote address today in the later part of the program. He is a reformist, as we all know. In the process of reform, lot of major big tickets programs have been taken up in the recent past, and some of them, as you all know, has already been happening and then started yielding results, and some of them are in the final stage of completion. One of the major concerns when he took over was that when the country has to grow at the rate of 7-8%, the GDP, the infrastructure sector at railways has to grow by about 9-10%. Indian Railway today, our originating loading is something like 1.1 billion tons of freight. If we have to grow at the rate of 10%, so the country can grow 7%, my loading has to touch 1.5 billion tons. That means I have to grow 30% in the next 4 years. Can we grow? That is the question. And our major, diagonals and the golden quadrilateral, where majority of freight are moving, are predominantly congested, and we need a huge investment to decongest them, so that the 30% growth the steel sector is anticipating, about double the growth, double the main coal production by the coal ministry is contemplating next 4-5 years. If that has to happen and have to be carried, these heavy minerals have to be carried, then the railway capacity has to increase tremendously. With that in view, a huge program, as you all know, 1.5 lakh crores of investment as kick-started last year with the LAC, buying, giving a loan to that extent to Irfc, and that was the beginning. But the organization, if it has to expand, exponentially, the huge investments have to happen, not through only the budgetary support, but through a large participation by the public sector, private sector, particularly public-private partnership. So, with that in view, very many initiatives have been mooted, and today we will be showcasing you 3 specific, initiatives to garner investments, attract investments from the public sector, or from the private sector. That is why this conclave has been organized. One of them is that we have our PPP policy, which was announced some time back, but that didn't really took wings off for various reasons. But recently it has been tweaked, and then a huge public-private partnership programs are happening, and lot are in the pipeline, the details of which my colleague would be presenting shortly. That is one area. The second area is that station development. Railway, as you know, has got huge landmass, and most of the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities where the stations are located in the central district have got a huge potential for commercial exploitation. For that to happen, we need to have a big participation from the private sector and through a PPP process. So, Mr. Rajiv Chaudhary, our advisor station development today, would be sharing with you the kind of things that have already happened in the area and what is going to happen shortly, and how you can all chip in. The investment world can chip in and make this a big possibility. The third area is very dear to the heart of the minister, is the joint venture companies formation with various stakeholders, particularly with the state government. But the appetite for expanding the rail network is humongous in the country, but the resource constraints are also equally a big constraint. To break this impasse, what has been struck now is that a JV partnership with the state government and other stakeholders in that region would happen. For that, a lot of spade work has been done. 10 states have already come forward and signed MOU and joint and a JV agreement with us. More than 70 projects have been identified, worth more than 30,000 crores in these states, and then how these would transform not only the geography of that area, but also the rail network in general, and thereby the growth of the Indian railways. The details of which would be presented to you by Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, who is here today as he is ED JV in the Railway Board. And lastly, the ED PSU, Ms. Dwivedi, would be giving you how this railway PSUs who are they're playing a very major role in bringing in a lot of developments in the rail sector, how they are going to chip in and make this investment program possible, how they are going to engage the private sector. These are the kind of thoughts and investment strategies that we have wanted to present today through these presentations. And it's not just this investment strategy alone. The minister has initiated a lot of other facilitating reform process also. One of them is a big regulatory kind of a mechanism. This kind of a private participation has to happen. You need to have a regulatory mechanism. For that, action is on hand, and it is in advanced stage of processing. And lastly, and more importantly, the financials of the railways to know in the way commercial world understand. We need to have a huge accounting reformation. You must have read in the papers recently that a big function took place 2-3 days back in the Vigyan Bhavan, where the finance minister himself was the chief guest, where the roadmap for the accounting reform to make the railway accounting system with the budget, with the expenditure, with the output and outcome, with the accrual accounting as the approach, would make our financial statement and balance sheet as readable, as understandable as any other commercial entity can do. These are all the reform processes on the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have very interesting presentations lined up. Before I call my friends to do that, I would like to tell you that Minister is just going to join, and he would be giving the keynote address late in the at some time. And with these few words, introductory words, I welcome all of you once again for this investors conclave, and I hope you will have a very pleasant evening today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Financial Commissioner Railways, Mr. Shehzad Shah, to address the gathering.
A very good evening, everybody. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you here. Indian Railways right now is on the verge of a major takeoff. We are not only making changes in our working, in our accounting systems, in our performance, we have to take a major step towards involving the other stakeholders, the investors, and for which this conference has been convened, and we are here with you. So far we have relied on our own internal resources and budgetary support which we get from the Government of India, Ministry of Finance. Things, the way it has transpired of late, the internal resources are drying up. The budgetary support is limited. The work which has to be done is enormous, and hence we have embarked on this major loan which was recently taken from LIC, which you are all aware of. But besides the loan which Irfc has been taking from raising the funds for our rolling stock, now the funds are being raised for our programs, projects which were otherwise being done from our internal resources or through the GPS. As I just said, that those resources are drying up, so we need to move on. The world is also moving, and it's putting your own money to improve your infrastructure is not the best way to do it. Hence, we need your support. High growth is for high growth, high investment is needed, and capacity generation is the only way forward that we can improve our operational performance and the revenues which come along with it. Hence, Ministry of Railways have started a multi-pronged and more expansive effort to garner resources from unexplored sources. 8.5 lakhs crore over a period of 5 years was what has been presented in the budget for 15-16. The investment level has jumped, and 40 to 50,000 crores per annum, from 40 to 50,000 crores per annum, it went up to 1 crore. It has gone up to 1.21 lakh crores in the current year, and 1.4 approximately would be the target in the next year, 17-18. So far, we have not fully utilizing the LIC resources. We are basically all our departments are basically now trying to get themselves in a position to utilize the funds. At present, 10,000 crores has been drawn from LIC, utilized. Another area where we have embarked is having JVs with the states. I think with nearly all the states we have entered into a JV. There have also been with strategic investors are being pursued vigorously along with by the PSUs also. We have streamlined the PPP policy. In fact, ED-PPP is also here, so any interaction which would be required for how participative can an investor get, or how he can involve himself in the infrastructure development of the railways. During the course of the evening, you can interact with ED-PPP also. The presentation which will be given, which will give you an insight as to what is happening, so that investments in new lines, terminals, station development, logistical services can all come in. 100% FDI has been allowed in construction, maintenance and operation in all these areas. To make it more transparent, our accounting reforms which are taking place, our costing and accounting systems are being reformed so that it could be easily available to you to understand what the railways and what is the financial strength of the railways. Cost optimization and revenue enhancements through innovative means are being explored, and hence at the end of it I would again say that scaling of stakeholder participation is essential for achievement of a higher trajectory of growth in this key infrastructure development which we have planned. Today's evening, I think, would be giving you an insight. so far we have had other such meets. Last year we had at the BSc. It's a continuation of that process. People have joined in, and we expect more and more people to join in. Thank you, and I hope you have a pleasant evening.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. We will now start with the presentation. I will introduce the subject, and then my colleagues will take the presentation forward. So, as railways is known as the lifeline of the nation. We carry about 23 million passengers per day and about 1 billion ton of freight in a year. We run 21,000 trains daily. However, over the years, the expectations regarding services to be provided by Indian Railways have grown manifold. The challenges we are attempting to tackle include underinvestment, a losing modal share due to cross-subsidization of passenger revenues by freight revenues, and structural constraints. We have taken some initiatives to overcome them, and yet others are being taken for the growth and modernization of the network. As all of you are aware that in 2015 we had come up with a medium-term investment plan of 8.56 lakh crore, or about 140 billion US dollars. About 30% of that was to be sourced through gross budgetary support from the central government, and about 28%, that is 2.5 lakh crore, was to be met out of debt. Now last year, that is 15-16, we did capital expenditure of about 94,000 crore, and this year our target is about 1,21,000 crore. By November of the current year, we've already spent over 50% of the targeted expenditure. Normally, the last quarter is the one where we have the major chunk of the expenditure coming in. So we are well on target, I would say, as of now. Now to source in funds from various sectors, we've created new partnerships, or we're trying to create new partnerships, created new structures. So, as you're aware, we're trying to form JVs with state governments. We've been successful in a few cases, and my colleague will be talking about them in greater detail. We've also forged partnerships with some PSUs. Then we have, in financial terms, we have forged a partnership with LIC where we have funds available for financing projects. And to source funds from the international low-cost pension and insurance funds, we are proposing to develop a fund outside the railway budget, that is the Railways of India Development Fund. We will be seeking necessary approvals for the same, but the idea is to pool in resources from various pension and insurance funds and utilize them for remunerative projects. So the projects themselves will actually be servicing the debt. So we will be entering into an era of project-based financing, which till now we have not been doing in the railways. Our borrowing has basically been sovereign-backed. So the impact of all this effort towards focusing on infrastructure has been that the commissioning in various areas, that is the commissioning of lines, electrification, etc., has gone up tremendously. On the infrastructure side, to increase the speed of movement, we've already introduced a new rolling stock in the form of Gatiman Express, which at a speed of 160 kmph. We have already set up the National High Speed Rail Corporation, which will be undertaking the high-speed passenger corridor between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. We did trials of the Talbot train, which was a new kind of a rolling stock, which demonstrated that we could cut down time tremendously on our existing network with the existing infrastructure by introducing different rolling stock. And new products that we propose to launch are Tejas, which is a premium service. Others are Humsafar and Antyodaya, which are the different kind of products which are coming up, new services that will be coming up. Then As part of the medium-term plan, we intend to introduce turnkey contracts, that is EPC contracting. We expect the DFCs to be commissioned by 2019. We have a plan of electrification of about 10,000 kilometers by 2019-20, and we expect that the daily commissioning for lines would be about 19 kilometers per day by 2020. We have identified some semi-high-speed corridors where the average speed will go up substantially, and we have a plan for modernizing our stations. On the freight side, we have taken a number of measures to rationalize